I just got back from Japan. It was my first time in Asia. But as a black man, that shit shook me to my core, dog.
When I told people I was coming to Japan, their reactions discouraged me. At some point, I felt I made the wrong decision. And, they were asking, why not the UK? Why not America? Why not Canada? Because in my country, you're rated based on the country you choose to live in.
When you were in America, did people believe you when you told them you were from Japan?
No. A lot of people ignored me. Some people said I was lying.
And we went in with like a group of all black people. And then we went up to like the lineup where they all like look at you. And then in Japanese, they were like, we don't need black people today. I thought that was pretty random, like, but
they had no idea that she actually knew Japanese.
Yeah, they had no idea I could actually speak Japanese, but I thought that was pretty surprising. Like, we just went in, they were like, yo, 今日は黒人いないっす. I thought that was pretty wild.
I just got back from Japan. It was my first time in Asia. But as a black man, that shit shook me to my core, dog. So now we gotta do a story time. Top 3 things I noticed in Japan. Number 1, they love black hair. I'm walking down the street in Shibuya. People are breaking their necks like they've seen a BBL. But the reality is that they were just staring at me, and some people even came up to me wanting to touch my hair. Number 2, everybody in Japan in their 20s love Playboy Cardi. Every single bar I went to, Japanese dudes and women would come up to me just like this and say they love Playboy Cardi. Is it because I'm a black guy and they're telling me this? I don't know, but I love Japan. But the biggest thing I noticed there, nobody uses deodorant. Every single girl I walked by smelled hella good. Even the guys too. It wasn't like a cologne or perfume. These Japanese people smelled naturally fresh.
What was the most hurtful thing that you've ever been told, and what did you do about it?
I wouldn't say the most hurtful, but something that just came off the top of my head. I remember once I had this model casting. Right now I'm a fashion model, but this model casting, and we went in with like a group of all black people, and then we went up to like the lineup where they all like look at you, and then in Japanese they were like, we don't need black people today. I thought that was pretty random, like, but
they had no idea that she actually knew Japanese.
Yeah, they had no idea I could actually speak Japanese, but I thought that was pretty surprising. Like, we just went in, they were like, yo, 今日は黒人いないっす. I thought that was pretty wild. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
And what did you do about it?
I mean, honestly, I didn't do much about it, but I mean, I just have to realize there's always going to be some people out there. But I mean, that's just one experience out of like rare experience, I feel like.
So for a black person planning to become a model in Japan, like what advice would you give them if they had to experience that?
Don't take it too seriously, really. I mean, like, you'll always have other opportunities. So, I mean, just keep moving forward, man.
That's a good one. Let it slide, people. It's not worth it. Okay, thank you so much.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm Jada. I'm from Jamaica and I've been in Japan for 6 years. And I'm here because my dad works as an English teacher. I came here when I was 13. I'm 19 now, so yeah, it's been 6 years. So I went to just regular Japanese junior high school and also senior high school. So like all my lessons were done in Japanese. Basically all Japanese classmates. It was very hard because I felt very out of place. Going to junior high school, I was the only like black girl and I was the only foreigner. So it was very obvious, like I didn't fit in.
When you look back at the time, in junior high school, was it a good time in your life? How do you consider that?
Yeah, I wouldn't describe it as like fun, but I think it definitely helped in giving me experience and kind of like shaping me to be the person that I am, because like I had to go through the hardships. It wasn't fun, but it was probably necessary for me to get where I am today.
What's it like being African in Japan? And have you felt any kind of sense of like any kind of racism or the discrimination in Japan?
Well, if I had to pinpoint the situation, I might have to say, like, sometimes when you're on the train, some people don't want to sit next to you, but that's okay. I don't assume it as racism. I just sometimes assume it as people not being comfortable sitting next to an African person, because not everybody is like that. Because sometimes I'm sitting down on a train, other people join me, they sit next to me. Sometimes they don't sit next to you. But I don't take it as personal or something like that, because everybody has a personal preference in terms of who they want to sit next to, who they're comfortable with. So I see it more of as a comfortability thing. That's like, I'm not comfortable sitting next to a black person. That's okay. I don't mind it. And I so you see, it's not just black people in general. You have like sometimes other people don't want to sit next to other European people or white people.
When you were in America, did people believe you when you told them you were from Japan?
No. A lot of people ignored me. Some people said I was lying.
Equally as frustrating, people getting offended if you say, I'm black, I'm from Japan. Why is that something people get offended about?
I'm sorry, but it's almost like there's a, like a complex.
So you were born and raised in Japan, and after all that, do you think people here see you as a Japanese person?
I've been told, 자, 일본인장. Like, I think my community accepts me as Japanese.
Just because you're born in a chicken coop doesn't make you a chicken. I just see these comments all the time.
I'm honestly not surprised. Like, you have people that feel very differently, and also because of the anime culture. Yeah. So I'm not really surprised to hear that from foreigners per se, because me as living in Japan, I've never had such a negative experience.
My name is Umi and I'm from Florida and I've lived in Japan for 2 years.
What brought you to Japan?
I wanted to study Japanese and since I was a kid, I've always wanted to live here.
What's it like being black in Japan?
It's different from being a foreigner. Those are two different things. I get stereotyped a lot. I work with kids and so when I first meet them, they cry because of my skin tone. I get a lot of derogatory terms sometimes with Japanese people, like they've called me like a monkey and I've been called the N-word a few times here, but also it's been really good too. So like because I'm black, I stand out a lot.
Can you introduce yourself in Japanese too?
はじめまして、私の名前は海です。私の日本語はあんまりペラペラじゃない。だからもっと勉強したいです。はい。
ありがとうございます。
Raising biracial kids in Japan. Is there anything you try to do?
I think her experience will be really unique because she has older brother and sister who are racially Japanese completely. Imagine that it'll be helpful because she'll have her own siblings who will have a different experience. But in general, as a foreign guy, specifically like a black American guy living in Japan, if I had one major concern with my child in Japan, it's not about safety, quality of the school system. My one concern is her being biracial in Japan. Probably struggle with also in America, but it's just going to be more extreme here. Because of the homogeneity of Japan, not looking Japanese like everyone else, she'll be considered an outsider until that culture changes. And I don't think that culture will change. By the time she's 12, 15, 18, I don't think it'll have changed. I think it'll take more time for Japan to finally open itself up.
Just making sure she meets a lot of different people and culture, so she's just not fixed to just one. When she understands who she really is, like it'll be more easy for her to accept, like, oh, there's a lot of different people, so like, I'm a person,
When I told people I was coming to Japan, their reactions discouraged me. At some point, I felt I made the wrong decision. And, they were asking, why not the UK? Why not America? Why not Canada? Because in my country, you are rated based on the country you choose to live in or the country you migrate to, right? So they did rate me. Like, they thought I was joking. They thought I was not serious with my life. And I was so discouraged. It was so bad that I almost rejected my job offer. And so I spoke to a friend about it and she told me to move. She told me to take the job and leave. I started doing my research about Japan, learning about the culture, and I was convinced that this was the country for me. I'm not saying Japan is a perfect country. There is no perfect country anywhere. But I was convinced that it was a country that suits my lifestyle, a country that suits my personality, a country that suits my career path. That was how I took the bold step to move to Japan without even learning Japanese. So we are entering the year 2025 and everyone is making plans. Some people are already planning to go to any country, just because their friends are there or their family members are there or because of the currency. I know these are important, but you need to ask yourself some more important questions. So as you're planning to move to a country, there are some important questions you need to ask yourself. Does this country suit my career path? Does it suit my lifestyle? Does it suit my social life? You don't just move to a country because everyone is moving there. You need to ask these questions. Do your research and make the right migration decision in the year 2025.
You've been here for 9 years. Have you ever dated a Japanese person?
No.
No? Why is that?
Japanese guys, can you tell me the answer to the question? Really? I have no idea. I don't know. I think, to be honest, nobody talks to me. Nobody ever... No, they never talk to me. They never try to invite me out. There's another reason. That's from my side. I think when I first moved to Japan, I lived in the countryside. And I come from a very proud culture, where all types of people are beautiful, where there. Black is beautiful. Your body type doesn't matter. That kind of stuff. And when I moved to Japan, I noticed people were very obsessed with everything that was white or Caucasian. Like people were bleaching their skin, whitening their skin for the posters. During summertime, everybody covered their skin. And all the men were very, very like weirdly obsessed with white women, Caucasian women, especially women with blonde hair. And my first couple of months here, I was watching it and I was like, what is this? At that time, I said, whoa, this is weird. This is very different. Now I don't care. But I think back then I was like, you know what? This is the society. They're really in love with white women. So I just kind of shut off my mind from Japanese men. And then I think it never really changed over.
Too many blacks in Japan lately. Eh? Omae dare? Yeah, chotto mattou ze. Chotto matta. First of all, you're racist. You're just racist. Like, let's just get that out the way. You're racist. And the fact that you commented this, right? You knew you was gonna get clapped back. Like, I don't know how you got on TikTok and was like, hold up, let me be racist today. まずファーストステップ、俺日本人ね。まあそっから始めよう。ね。I got a passport. I got a Japanese passport. I've been living here my whole entire life, born and raised out here, 22 years. 22. まあやっぱり単純に言ってそういうことを言う人間はもう無理っす。今回はコメント返してあげたけどもう無理っすね。
My best advice for you is to not engage with Japanese people in an altercation or a fight or argument in any kind. Just walk away, learn the 4 forms of bending, try to turn Super Saiyan, but do not engage them in fighting. Because Japan is for the Japanese, and the Japanese police are more likely to believe the Japanese citizen. And they hardly take the side of foreigners. So, the Japanese people know this, and there are several schemes and scams that actually happen in nightlife around Japan especially. And so they make a claim to the hospital, then they feign injuries, then they go to the police, and then you are now in Japanese prison. And the hospitality that you see or claim to have known about Japan no longer exists. All right.
Yeah, I feel like there is a bit of racism out here. They don't exactly accept African Americans. So yeah, I notice when I go in stores and stuff, I'm followed around like real close and stuff. And I notice they don't do that for other people. So yeah, I am treated differently than other people. I mean, they're nice people. Don't get me wrong, but you'll see it sometimes.